Hey guys, it turns out it is the perfect day to record this video because apparently the weather just got wind that I am recording a summer themed video, so yeah, Paris decided to give me the most summery day it could possibly give me. So if you can hear the fan going in the background, or if you like see an occasional gust of wind hit me, it's because I literally cannot do this video today if I don't have the fan going. It is so hot outside. Anyway, today I thought I would talk to you guys about productivity in the summertime. I am one of those who, regardless of when it was in my life, right now I'm working, so obviously I don't get the summer off, and that's how it's been the past couple of summers. But even when I was at university, I would often take summer classes, and if I didn't take summer classes, then I was still doing like tons of stuff over the summer, be it orchestra things like theater. I would often play for theater, or just like writing books or writing other projects. You get the picture. I have just always basically pushed myself in the summer to kind of do something different from my norm. I find that a lot of people are like me and they want to do something special during the summer. It's like a little push of motivation once you kind of get out of that hibernation mode over the winter time. So today I'm going to give you guys a few of my tips, things that I try to think of and do throughout the summer to kind of push myself to get those specific types of projects done. I say that, and yet here's the first tip, and this one is actually applicable for all seasons and any time of year, but my first tip is to make a list kind of like you would New Year's resolutions. And the reason I do put this on the list still is because a lot of people do make New Year's resolution lists, and that's just sort of supposed to apply to the entire year, and you don't actually stop and make a new list just for the summertime. So I recommend you make a list and then you put it someplace where you're going to see it every single day. Often our routines in the summer are going to be a little bit different. Again, even if we normally go to work and stuff, we might get up at slightly different times, we might have different types of events in the evenings because it's a totally different season, and it's a special season. So that means that you might have a little bit of a different routine, and it means that you might not see the same parts of your house at the same times of day, etc. I don't know, you can apply this to however you live your summers, but I recommend you put it in a place that you know you're going to see it every single day. If you're not spending as much time at your desk as you do in the wintertime, then put it on your fridge, or put it on your bedroom door, or just someplace where you think that you're going to see it every single day, and it's a very good reminder. Not all of you guys might be list makers like I am. I've said it multiple times. I love making lists. It really works for me. But even if you're not a natural list maker like I am, I still think that writing down your goals and just making that very clear, and especially seeing that reminder every single day, can be really helpful. My next tip is to try and come up with ways that you can do your projects or whatever you want to do to be productive outside instead of inside. A lot of you guys are probably going to have goals that require your computer, just because a lot of people, especially if you're on YouTube right now, it probably means that you are on your computer at least some of the time. So of course this one is much more doable if you have that type of project. If it's something else like home renovation or something, I probably can't really help you that much with this particular point. But if you can find a way to still be productive but be able to actually enjoy the weather outside and spend some time outside, I think you'll probably find that you're a lot more ready to get up in the morning and to do whatever it is you need to do. If you want to start regularly blogging, for example, try and find a place on your patio, if you have a patio, or a place at a nearby cafe that has outdoor seating and where you can have some shade so you can still see your computer screen, or bring a notebook. Just plan these things out in advance and find a way that you're going to be able to do it immediately when you want to do it. Because I find the thing in the summertime for me that is the biggest temptation to not do what I need to be doing is that it's so nice outside and I just want to go out and do something outside, or it's really hot inside. Even if it's not necessarily the niceness outside, like in the dead of summer, there's still something about the really hot weather that makes you just want to be outside. So I'll look outside and I'll decide I really want to go out and do something outside, and I don't really want to sit at my desk and edit a video or work on my book, so I'm just going to go outside and I'll do that later. And then you just never get back to it and do it. If you come up with a plan though, like when I had these urges to go outside, I know exactly what cafe I'm going to go to, I know exactly where I'm going to sit, I know exactly how I'm going to do it, where I'll be able to see my screen, where I'll be able to have all the notes and the materials that I need, like pencils and papers and whatever else, and then when that urge strikes, in that moment, you grab your stuff, you go to the cafe, and you have exactly what you need to do. There's none of that temptation to where when you're in the moment and you think, well, I don't really know how to do it, I don't know where I could go, where I could work, so I'm just not gonna work. There's none of that. You know exactly what you're gonna do. My next tip is something that you've probably heard before, but it's especially applicable in the summer. Wake up earlier. In the summer you have much longer days, which means that the temptation to stay up later is also there, but also it's a lot more reviving to get up early when the sun's already up. This is the thing that kills me about winter, because when I go to work, when I get up in the mornings in the winter, inevitably it's going to be still very dark, if not pitch black, when I have to get up. But in the summer, the exact same time, the sun is already shining. So even if you don't have to get up early to go to work every day, or it's a weekend or something like that, you can still get up earlier and have that same feeling as when you get up later in the winter. A little extra tip for those of you who think that you're not able to get up early. I know sometimes, it's just different for everybody. Everyone has a different sort of brain schedule that's natural for them, but you might find if you keep trying, if you push yourself to get up early for an entire week or entire 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you might find that your body actually adjusts. This has varied for me in the course of several years. I used to be very much a morning person. I would do great when I got up, and then I sort of went through a phase where I started getting up later and later, and it became, I don't want to say impossible, but as close to impossible as it can get, for me at least, to get up early in the mornings. I just would want to sleep in at least until 8. And the past couple of years, I've had to get up early for work, and I'm not really sure I can call myself a morning person because I don't feel great in the mornings, but I definitely have gotten to where on the weekends I still can't get up most of the time after 8. I mean, I'm awake, and I need to at least be awake, maybe not necessarily get up. Anyway, long story short, I have sort of trained my body at different times, depending on what my schedule is, to respond to it that way. So you might find that if you push yourself to get up early regularly for a while, it might get easier. My next tip is related to that one, because if you do tend to have trouble waking up earlier, or if you think that you're going to have trouble, I recommend you get thinner curtains. Once again, it's summer, so the sun comes up much earlier, but if you have really dark curtains and they're closed, when you wake up, you still might feel like it's dark outside. So get thinner curtains, or if you have blinds, leave your curtains open so that when you wake up in the morning, the sun is shining through and you will feel so much better. Even after nights where you didn't get very much sleep, which I obviously recommend that you try and get enough sleep just for your own health, but even on those nights where you might get 6 hours of sleep, for example, when the sun is up, you're probably still going to feel more refreshed in the morning than after 9 hours of sleep if the sun is down when you get up. My next tip is about your friends, because sometimes in the summertime, again, even if you're not at university and even if technically no one's on a break, people tend to plan little things. They plan more events, they plan more things outside, and if your friends are not those types who want to do productive things throughout the summer, that's cool, but it can obviously affect you a little bit. So I recommend just being extremely honest with your friends. Otherwise, it's going to feel like you're just constantly telling them no and you don't want to hang out with them, and that feels bad for you, and it affects the way you feel about your productivity times. It makes you feel guilty about them. It makes you feel like you should be actually doing stuff with your friends. So what I recommend is that obviously have a balance. Don't just work, don't just hang out, have a balance between those two things. You'll feel better. But also tell your friends what's going on. Instead of just saying, no, I can't do that all the time, just tell them, I'm sorry, but these days I need to do this and that, or 2 times a week I need to be writing my book or something like that, and just be 100% honest with them about whatever it is you're doing. And then they're all of a sudden going to understand why you can't do certain things, but also understand that you are up for other things. Sometimes you might be worried this will be a little awkward, like they shouldn't have invited you, or they should be doing something productive themselves, but ultimately if they're your friend, they probably already know what you're like, and they probably already know that you're going to be wanting to do something productive. At least that's how it was with my friends. They would always look at me like, yeah, of course you're trying to write a book in the summer. In the long run, it definitely makes things a lot more smooth. They understand what you're doing, they understand that you're not just trying to avoid them, and then of course you get a balance and you do actually spend time with them too, so it just works out a little bit easier for both of you. Lastly, I'm going to talk a little bit about travels during the summer, because a lot of us do take trips during the summer. This is going to be probably the most challenging part of doing something productive in the summer, is if you have some sort of trip or travel planned. There's a couple of different options I'm going to give you here of what I think are some healthy ways of approaching this. Your first option is the pretty obvious one, just take it off. This is going to depend a lot on the thing that you're trying to accomplish during the summer, and what kind of trip it is, how long it is, where it is, what the occasion is, who you're with. For example, if you're going on a week-long vacation with your family or with some friends, and it's just a week, you're doing a lot of things, you want to actually see the place, maybe you've never been there before, I recommend option 1, because you're going to want to actually enjoy that time. You guys know I love traveling, I love seeing new places, and it would just crush me to feel like anybody out there, definitely not on my advice, but even without my advice ever coming into play, it kills me to know that somebody would use their entire vacation just to work on something that they could do at home and not actually enjoying it. So there's option 1 for you. However, this is not such a great option if your vacation is extremely long, for example, or if you're going someplace you've been before, or if you're going someplace just to sit on a beach and to chill a bit. Those would be the times that I would probably recommend option 2, and that is to set yourself some reasonable goals, ones that are going to be a little bit lower than when you're just doing your normal routine, because you are still going to want to actually enjoy that vacation a bit, but that are still there fair and that still includes some productivity and includes some progress. If you opt for this one, I also recommend that you set up some sort of workspace or workstation at wherever it is that you're staying. If you're going to go spend a month with family, ask if they have a little space or take a little space out of your room. If you're going to sit on a beach for a week or two, come up with some sort of reasonable way of doing your work on the beach, for example. That would be pretty amazing, to be honest. If you do this, it kind of mimics that same thing that you get at home, where you have your desk or your cafe or wherever it is that you normally do your productivity. You're going to have that same sort of routine feel throughout the period of vacation that you're on. So those are the two options that I recommend you consider before you go on a summer trip. Honestly, I've done both in the past, but the majority of my trips and travels have been a week or two max, so typically I just tend to take them off completely. It's up to you. I hope these tips have been helpful for you guys and have given you some ideas for the summer. Let me know in the comments, what is it that you want to accomplish this summer if you have a goal? And if you don't, if you're planning on having a chill, easy summer, I don't actually know why you watched this video, but let me know in the comments, what are you going to be doing? How are you going to spend your summer? This is my first summer in Paris, and it's only my second summer in my entire life that I'm living someplace that does not have air conditioning. And the last time I was in Bristol, England, which, I mean, it gets warm because it's summer, but Paris tends to get a lot warmer than basically any place in the UK. So it's gonna be interesting. Not gonna lie, I might be moaning a little bit on Twitter. Anyway, thank you guys all so much for watching this video as usual, and I will see you very soon in my next one.